Okay, I'm now going to ask Dr. Roy Jackson about something that often confuses students, often confuses teachers, it often confuses me. What is the ontological argument for the existence of God?
Right, well, probably a good way of answering that is almost to say what it isn't.
Okay, I'm not understanding, we'll start cop out.
Well, what it isn't is a posteriori. It is not a posteriori. So unlike many of the other, cosmological argument, teleological argument, which start from observing the world and saying, well, the world is orderly, or the world has cause and effect, etc., and therefore you conclude that there's a God or something. The ontological argument does not start from there at all.
So it doesn't proceed from normal evidence?
No, it doesn't start from evidence or experience in that sense. It is a priori. It is before experience or evidence. And it starts from merely by thinking. And thinking about concepts and how we conceive them. Now, the argument here, which was, I think, first presented by Anselm in the 11th century, was that when you think the word of God, you cannot separate God as what he called the greatest conceivable being. The two cannot be separated. In the same way, Descartes also presented an argument of it. And Descartes said, in the same way, when you think of a triangle, you cannot separate the three sides of a triangle from it. It's just not possible. Given this, then, you can present an argument for the being of God, for the nature of God. The fact that when you think of God in your mind, and you think of God as the greatest conceivable being, following on from that, that which exists in the mind could exist in reality, which you can accept. But of course, for something to exist in reality must be greater than that which exists in the mind. A real £10 note is greater than me thinking of a £10 note. And I can imagine many things which I'd like to exist in reality, but unfortunately don't. But God is different in this case. God must both exist in your mind, but also exist in reality, because God is the greatest conceivable being. Therefore, it follows that if he only exists in the mind, he would not be the greatest.
So being a God that only exists in your mind is less than a God that exists in your mind and in reality?
Yes.
So let me just check over this right.
Yes.
The concept of what God is, when we think it out, contains the idea of God's existence.
Yes.
So God couldn't not exist.
Yes. Merely by the fact that by greatest here, by saying he's greatest must also require existence. For instance, otherwise he wouldn't be greatest. There'd be something greater than God, something that exists outside of the mind that would therefore be greater than God. But then that would be God.
Yeah. So it starts in thinking what is God.
Yes.
Not in evidence, as you said. So it starts in a thought of what God is, and that when you take that through, you think that must exist due to its very nature.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.